What's up everybody, welcome back. So originally I was gonna make a video on Latina Parfait's review on South of Midnight, but I was too busy on other activities in my daily life that it took too long, so I ultimately scrapped it. But if you guys want to see it, let me know in the comments and I'll work on it again. Anyway, there was this game that was on Steam called No Mercy. Not just any game, a goon game. And with a name like that, I think you can understand the implications. So there was some outrage over the game that had gotten so big that the government from a few countries had gotten involved and banned the game altogether. Then the devs for the game responded, which pretty much just said, hey, we get why y'all are mad, we don't approve of the IRL actions, but it's just a game, chill the fuck out. And ultimately came to the decision of pulling the game off Steam. Not Valve, the devs themselves took it off willingly. Keep that in mind. We'll get back to that. But I don't know how I feel about this whole situation. Personally, I see this situation that's in the same vein as Hatred, which was a game about this picture-perfect definition of what the quiet kid in school thinks he looks like, that then goes on a fucking rampage. Why? Cause fuck them. But when this game was greenlighted, Steam stepped in and took it off their site, but then there was some outrage and Valve decided to reverse their decision, which makes sense as to why they didn't step in here with No Mercy, but that didn't stop anyone from playing defense for this game. Enter the journalist in quotations, Endymion. He made a video basically giving his take on the whole controversy, which went exactly how I expected. I've already watched the whole video and I just wanted to go over a few things with it. First off, he says that Steam was the one who took down the game. In fact, he states and infers that multiple times in this video.
And the devs behind this game, which are called Zeret Games, they cooked this up, they slapped a $10 price tag on it, and Steam went, sure, just take the 18+ box and you're golden. And that's pretty much it. The game was being sold, and I say was because Steam actually took it down recently too.
Which is just a bold-faced lie. Remember when I told you to keep that fact in mind at the beginning? Yeah, well, here's where it comes into play. The devs themselves took it down. Various articles even state this. But that's not even the most egregious part of this video. In order to make his point about explicit material in games that's considered depraved, he brings up Silent Hill 2 to make his point. Silent Hill.
Take Silent Hill, an entire series built upon the concept of abuse and similar themes to this No Mercy game. And if you played that, you would know that the entire game is filled to the brim with questionable depictions when it comes to the violence against women. Every enemy type is, to some degree, a manifestation of the main character's desires and urges given twisted form. And then, of course, you have Pyramid Head. That's the iconic monster that is this thing that's created from the main character's trauma and deepest regrets. Angela, for example, is a young woman who is a victim of assault and abuse herself. And her journey throughout the game as you meet her at various points paints the picture that her family abused her in every way imaginable because she was vulnerable. And she has this one moment where her unique boss fight against what's hunting her the entire game appears, and the implications of what that boss fight means and, looks like, which is pretty much two people on a bed in like a body bag close to one another, insinuating that Angela's father would, abuse her and such. Yeah, it is pretty gruesome. The Silent Hill 2 and its many depictions of genuinely eyebrow-raising depictions of really awful things are not really being banned anywhere. You can still buy the game. The entire game, you also fight nothing but women, besides I guess a few boss fights where that isn't really the case. But it's mostly you, as James, violently just beating women to death from start to finish with like wood or guns and whatnot. And yet, nobody's banning it, but this No Mercy game is apparently too much, yet women in gaming haven't advocated for Silent Hill 2 to be removed.
I feel like I shouldn't even tell you how fucking retarded of a comparison that is. He tries justifying it saying shit like, oh, it has themes of sexual violence and stuff, as well as beating women from start to finish. Which, yes, it does have those things, but doesn't actively encourage you to do those things, like No Mercy does. Hell, it doesn't even show any of that, cause there's no point and a bit much. The most explicit it gets is with the abstract daddy boss fight, but that's about it. But if y'all thought that was stupid, wait until what else he brings to the table.
Censored or anything else? Or how about Resident Evil 5? I mean, you're blasting away infected zombie black people in Africa. You're just mowing them down.
I'm out. You think I'm not watching this!
Yeah, Resident Evil 5.
Is this nigga serious?
The fact that Resident Evil 5, no, any Resident Evil game has been brought remotely close to a topic like this is beyond asinine. While I understand the point he was trying to make with the outrage Resident Evil 5 had when it came out, but here's the thing, it's such an apt comparison because one game has you shooting black zombies in Africa, and the other game encourages you to blackmail and diddle your own family members. You see where I'm getting at here? He then goes on to say that taking this game off Steam is like opening Pandora's box and will only embolden others to make more stuff like this, and is a clear-shut case of censorship, which...
And by censoring a game like this, you've now brought attention to it and games like it, so now more people will just seek out these sorts of experiences, not because they necessarily want to, but because you decided whatever was in that game to be so nuclear levels of problematic that you moved heaven and earth to remove it completely. And frankly, out of all of this, I'm mostly just disappointed in Steam because this means in this instance, they actually bend the knee.
Maybe, I guess, but I have to ask, because this whole thing kicked up a question in my mind. In the realm of freedom of expression, where exactly do we draw the line? I mean, if children were involved somehow, I don't need to tell you that people wouldn't be arguing for freedom of expression or complaining that it's censorship. Well, most people. But besides that, this game obviously is a bit much for some people, and others don't care to see the nuance in this situation and just settle on they are just sensitive activists and need to get a grip. Obviously there's more to it, but these guys don't care about that and just want to stoke the flames of controversy by fear-mongering for clicks and shit. Which endymion does in this video. In fact, the majority of it was about this women in games organization that's supposedly like Sweet Baby Inc., which I'm not exactly a big fan of Sweet Baby. All my homies hate Sweet Baby, but I don't know anything about their organization, so I won't dip my toe in that water. But he does go on to say shit like they want to censor games that don't align with their views, they want to change gaming, along with the usual anti-woke buzzwords and such. Anyway, towards the end of the video, even brings up 50 Shades of Grey and says how it's funny that it isn't banned.
No Mercy is an adult-themed visual novel game. It's the gaming equivalent of 50 Shades of Grey the book, yet you don't see nobody banning that book, funnily enough.
While it is not banned, it's infamous for how poorly the book is written, as well as the relationship dynamic of the main characters that is constantly chastised to this day. But don't worry, it gets worse. Cause he brings up Silent Hill 2 again, saying it fetishizes violence against women, which...
From Silent Hill fetishizing violence against women and having boss fights of literal you-know-what happening.
No, he also brings in Outlast 2 with the subplot of sexual abuse of a minor in the main character's past and says that the game is not banned or anything.
Or games like Outlast 2, which has entire subplots about adults abusing minors, yet that game is still available and nobody really seems to mind.
Bitch, are you dumb?
Pardon me?
Are you dumb?
I think she's dumb.
I think she's dumb.
The fuck? The game didn't encourage any of it, let alone showed any of that, which is why No Mercy was being advocated to be taken off Steam. And of course he finds a way to squeeze in Assassin's Creed Shadows into the mix, which is such a stretch that it'll make Mr. Fantastic blush. He tries to justify it by saying that Ubisoft put Yasuke in the game and has him kill Japanese people like he's a psychopath.
What about Assassin's Creed Shadows and how you can play Yasuke, a black samurai, who just goes around slicing Japanese dudes left and right? Nobody's banning that for cultural insensitivity, so where's the line exactly here?
Even though he's an actual historical figure and is in various other games since he actually existed, after all that he then goes on this whole spiel about starving these bad games out and where we draw the line when it comes to those things, to which I'd say people found the metaphorical line here. Ever since it came out, this game has been given little to no mercy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So, my personal take on the game, well, I'm gonna keep it a buck. The controversy aside, the game looks like buns. Like, it deadass looks like one of those bad porn games you find ads for on the hub. Like, I understand both sides of the discourse, but the fact there's one at all over a Blender showcase of a game is high-key a waste of time. And I think the devs thought so as well, based on their statement when they pulled the game. They really didn't want the smoke with the entire world over a game like this. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe if you like, and have a good one. Peace.
I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl who could good. I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a